this was an in-person role, and it was my first after 3 years of working remotely. So I definitely had some challenges in adjusting to the new routine and lifestyle that I would have. And unfortunately, I didn't do so well. It was a time when I was the heaviest that I've ever been. I also abandoned all my hobbies and everything that I like to do, and was doing a not so good job at taking care of myself. One of the easiest things and the most helpful things that I have found was to do a complete cleaning and a revamp of my house, because I genuinely believe that the environment that you're living in is a reflection of what goes on up there. One of the things that I also kind of gave up on in the time that I was employed was actually to cook. And cooking is just one of the best outlets that I have for creativity, and I absolutely love opening the fridge and just seeing what's there, opening my cabinets, my pantry, and just coming up with nutritious and delicious food. That was something so minor, but like so healing. And before settling down in Abu Dhabi, I've actually spent 3 years of my life figuring out what exactly I needed as a human to be kind, to be happy, and to be healthy. But unconsciously, these were all habits that I didn't have time and energy for. And that was something that I knew I had to get back on in order to be the happy and healthy individual that I actually am. I think that is something that I think a lot of people can relate to. Giving up some of your hobbies and just time for yourself when you're put in a stressful environment. So thankfully for me, I had a trip planned for a visit home. And I think the trip couldn't have come at a better time. It was pretty hard to break the news to my family because I think coming from an Asian family, unemployment is not something that is well tolerated. But I'm also thankful to be in an environment where I'm very well supported and very well loved. And that was something that I couldn't have too much of when I was in Abu Dhabi. I think it was also really important to be in an environment where I could think about what I really wanted, what I had in my life, to think about who I was, and to just reflect on the kind of person that I wanted to be, and to realize that I hold identities that are more near and dear to my heart. Like, for example, being a daughter, being a sister, being a partner, being a friend. I made a trip to Da Nang in Vietnam, which is a city that I had always wanted to go. So nice to be living a carefree life, just jetting down the street on scooter and then bouncing between the gym and local eatery and then back to the gym again. It was also extremely refreshing to feel that thin layer of like perspiration and the humidity, to be exposed to all these new sounds, the new sights, the new scents. It reminded me that the world is so much bigger than the daily commute I had between the office and my home. And that was very much needed. When I was 25, I couldn't imagine myself living anywhere else but in Singapore. It's where my whole life was. I grew up there. It's where my family is. It's where my friends were. Everything that I could want, everything that I had was in Singapore. I didn't know that I was going to be a digital nomad for like 3 years. Sure, the uncertainty was nerve-wracking initially, but eventually you realize that like there is nothing hard about restarting life again. Also develop a confidence that no matter where I am, I will be okay. I've always found my way and I always will. The life I have in Abu Dhabi is very comfortable. I am a very lucky human being to be here. Um, this is this was unimaginable for me just a couple of years ago, but here I am. Of course, I get to think about whether or not we give up the life that I have here. But I think at this point in time, leaving here like this, like now, feels a little bit like a defeat for me. And it's not because I failed to settle down here, but because I didn't try more than once. The climate and the environment here is pretty harsh. I still find it pretty unaccommodating at this point in time, but I also know people who have settled here, who have grown roots here, and I think that I should at least give this maybe 2 or 3 more tries before I give up. I think that compared to 5 weeks ago, I'm definitely in a better headspace and a sharper focus on the kind of life that I want to lead. I am very grateful for all the support and the love and encouragement that I have received in this time, in these 5 weeks, from my friends, from families, or even from like people whom I've never met before and meeting. And as I've been reminded, when one door closes, many others open. Oops, sorry. So now the important question is, what's next? I don't know what the concrete steps will look like, but I can't really think of a better place for me to play, to experiment, to explore, to learn. I've set out some OKRs around this. If you're interested to see what I get up to figure out my life, look out for the next video. On a closing note, if you're unemployed or if you're facing a career crossroads, I hope that you'll find comfort in this video, that you're not alone. It is tough and it is very inconvenient, but that's all to it. You're alive and you're loved, and there is nothing more important than that. Follow. I hope